Okay, so the sandwich theorem, aka the squeeze theorem, okay, this is needed if we are working with a function that oscillates. It states that if g of x is less than or equal to f of x, which is less than or equal to h of x, on the same closed interval from a to b, and if the limit as x approaches c of g of x is exactly the same as the limit as x approaches c of h of x, and they are gonna equal to L. Then the middle function, which is f of x, you guys, the limit as x approaches c of that is also going to be L. Okay, so we have example 6 here in which we are going to use the squeeze theorem. Now we have the steps here, which we are going to write down. Okay, the steps, there are 4 of them. Take the trig apart, find its maximum and minimum, aka the range. 2, we're going to multiply, divide, add, subtract, whatever it is, remaining parts to all 3 inequalities, because whatever you do to one side, you do it to all of them. 3, find the limits of the left and right side of your inequality. So aka, if we're talking about a sandwich, we're talking about the bread pieces, okay, on the ends. And then number 4, this is your most important. This is the step that you're going to write down your final answer. So let's follow those guidelines. Step number 1, we are going to take the trig apart. We only have one trig function here, which is your cosine. And your step says, okay, we'll take it apart, okay, cosine of x, and find its minimum or maximum. In this case, is the range. So the range of cosine of x, guys, is going to be from -1 to 1. Then step number 2, as you guys recall, we are going to multiply or divide everything back, right, or add or subtract. So the first thing we're going to multiply is multiply the x squared back, okay, so to all 3 sides. So it's going to say -1 times x squared less than or equal to x squared times cosine of x, and then less than or equal to 1 times x squared. Now we also, guys, have this piece right here that we have to multiply it back or divide it back or add it back or subtract it back. But this piece, students, does not change the range, okay? Does not change your range. Okay, the range. So when we multiply it back, we do not need to multiply to the end of the inequalities because it doesn't change the range. So this one is going to say -x squared less than or equal to x squared times cosine, and then this is where we're going to multiply this back here, put that piece back, and then less than or equal to x squared. And then step number 3 says we need to find the limits of the left and right, okay, so the bread pieces. So step number 3, the limit as x approaches, this question said 0, of the left side, -x squared, okay, equals to blah, blah, blah. And the right side, limit as x approaches 0 of x squared. So this right here, guys, this is a quadratic, a U shape. It opens downward. As x approaches 0, y is going to come out to be 0. On the right side, this is also a quadratic. It opens up. As x approaches 0, 0 squared is 0. So they're both 0. So this allows us to make our final statement, which is your answer. What that means is going to go in, and you're going to copy this whole thing back. So limit as x approaches 0 of x squared times cosine of 1 over x squared. And the sandwich theorem said, hey, if the end pieces are 0, then the middle pieces must be 0. And that's all 4 steps must be written on your assignment.